Walker Kessler is done for the year. We'll talk about that, the hottest ads, the drops across fantasy basketball, who are the guys that we need to pay attention to, and is one of their names Bolton M?
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and my crystal ball is always cloudy, except for when I look into the past. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Go to the FanDuel app or go to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free, and we are available on all platforms. It is a waiver wire show, a well-timed waiver wire show. Thank you, calendar, because this is where I was going to do it anyway. And we've got big news this morning, just as I woke up, and it is the end of the season for Walker Kessler. It was short-lived. It was encouraging. And now it's done. I'm not going to tell you that I got it right by fading Walker Kessler. Part of the reason that I did that was I thought the Jazz would be bad and he would get a lot of injuries towards the end of the season. Didn't think that his shoulder would get ripped out 4 games in and the year would be over. So he outperformed my individual per game projections. The reason I faded him came to fruition 3 months too early. But that's done now. He is gone. He is out. We're no more Walker Kessler for the season. We're going to cover some of the players regarding Walker Kessler and the replacements in this show, the Fantasy Basketball Waiver Wire. So we'll get in and talk about just the most added guys, the most dropped guys. These names are going to come up. It's going to get sprinkled throughout the show here. Let's talk about the most added players over the last 48 hours on Basketball Monster, and the number one player on that list is an Isaiah. It's Isaiah Jackson, which I think people would be, I don't know if surprise is the right word, but you'll see some of the numbers here and you'll be like, what? Those rebound and point numbers, 11.5 and 7.8, are his last 3 games. And in those 3 games, he has played over 20 minutes. Now, he was obviously putrid, terrible, all season. But last game against Milwaukee and Miles Turner, he was awesome. Part of the appeal that I had in Isaiah Jackson was he was a high field goal, decent rebounding, high shot blocking center who was anointed the starter, even though I was worried about Carlisle rotating guys through. He's blocked 3 shots this season. But in fairness, 2 of those have come in the last 2 games, so maybe that's starting to turn around. His minutes are up. He looked absolutely lost to begin the season. And we saw Jackson starting, then Jackson get benched, then Bradley get most minutes, then Huff get more minutes, then Toppin get the most minutes. It's been all over the place. It does feel, at the moment, as if Jackson has got back into that spot where he will start and he will get the bulk of the minutes, the bulk of the time. I'm not going to tell you that I feel confident with that, though, because I don't. I didn't feel super confident with it in the preseason. I said I think they're going to rotate the 4 and 5 options they've got, and it's going to be a messy scenario. And that is what has happened so far. I look at what Jackson did and has done, and I don't see a guaranteed top 70 player. Maybe a top 100 guy. I don't even know that he's going to play 25 minutes a night, Isaiah Jackson. I've got him I think I've got him around 24, 25. The shot blocking needs to get up. The field goal percentage needs to be better. And we just need consistency. But it does make sense that he was added, but my level of confidence in it is actually quite low. Jake LaRavia, the second most added player. He's been really good. And what I loved last game is it didn't require 90% shooting to get good numbers. Now, of course, Austin Reeves out again today for Wednesday's action. And we talked about how he'd been tugging at his groin. Giggity. In the games prior, so it wasn't just a rest game. I don't know how long Reeves is going to be out, but this means that LaRavia, at least while Reeves and LeBron are out, he's going to have opportunities. He's a good player. The next most added player is Max Christie. I actually didn't think that we'd see Max Christie at the top of this list, but we are. Because, again, low-key, he's been very much under the radar. I've started to mention him probably over the last 3 or 4 days. So, because I'm on top of everything, I know everything. I'm the best, and no one will ever beat anything that I ever talk about or ever do. Christie is just starting to sneak up, but he's also the type of player that I'm just not that interested in. And here's why. Like, you might look at the numbers and go, okay, 33 minutes, 15 points, 2 threes. Oh, that's fine. It's nice, isn't it? It's pretty good. But it's just like, what are you doing to actually levitate a desk? What are you doing? You're making me sit there and go, it's a quiet hum. Who wants a quiet hum? I want the loud hum. I want the big bang. It's just nothingness. And the risk you have there is what happens when Lively plays? What happens when AD plays? What happens if this idiot franchise brings Kyrie back before Christmas? So, like, not only is he not... Like, if someone's popping and giving you top 60 numbers now and you go, well, it's going to die in 3 weeks, you go, I don't care. Give it to me now and let's roll with it. But if someone's going, I'm now the 125th best player, and then I'll be 200th later on, I go, yeah, that's all well and good, man. Like, it's fine. It's nice. I use it. The schedule makes sense. It's okay. We can have a crack. But it doesn't gird my loins, if that's a phrase that people use in common vernacular. Isaiah Stewart, the next most added player. And Stewart is, again, one of these players that if Jalen Duren is not in foul trouble and the thick Hogsman plays, the big fella plays 18 minutes, Isaiah Stewart, and it's not that good. It's useless. But Toby's out. He played 30 minutes. He cooked. Roster him. Do it. Is he a must-hold all the way through? The fact that now we've got 2 pathways to big minutes makes it a little bit more useful. And he's, 18 minutes a night makes him like, 160th, which is not good enough. But when you've got 2 pathways to being a top 70 guy, more interesting. It is Bobby Portis. It is Naz Reid. I think now, given that option, well, not Bobby Portis this season, because Bobby Portis this season is Precious Achiuwa, but Bobby Portis of previous seasons and Naz Reid currently, where you've got 2 individual pathways and plus your baseline's actually okay, then it's better. But we didn't know I didn't know, maybe you did. I didn't know that power forward pathway was applicable. And the next most added player is Jacques Landau. And everything that I said about Max Christie just is the same for Landau, because he's fine. When the schedule works, it's solid. It's useful. He's been productive enough, but he's not blowing us away. And Zach Edey's about to come in and just hit him like those things, those whack-a-moles. Just pop him back into the ground. And then the usefulness disappears after that, which might be fun. What about on Yahoo? Who has been the most added player? Well, here's what you want to hear, isn't it? Because it is the big fella, Jusuf Nurkic. And with an absolute stroke of, some may say genius, not me, I would say pure luck. I had Nurkic on the front cover of the daily streaming show for Wednesday's games, saying he is the stream of the day. I also said he is a must roster because I believe that Walker Kessler is going to be out for some time here. And that's where we're at. Now, if we come back here in February, I don't know that Nurkic is starting. He's probably not. It would make sense from us as an outside perspective that, why don't they just put Taylor Hendricks or Kyle Filipowski there? The reason I don't think they will is that Hendricks is a bit undersized and they like him more perimeter stuff. And Filipowski can't defend at all. At all. And usually in this scenario, this is one of those ones again. It's not like Kessler got injured at the end of the last game and we have no idea. We've seen 2 games. Nurkic started both of them and played 31 minutes in the last one. We have seen 2 games. And in both those games, he has shot horrendously. And he's not going to be a 60% shooter. But he's a points, rebounds, assist guy with blocks and should be able to get that field goal up a little bit more. And when we hit January, they might just say, sorry, Nurk, or he gets hurt and they have no choice but to go with old mate Kyle Filipowski or garbage can legend Oscar Tshiebwe. At the moment, it's Kevin Love as the backup center because Filipowski's playing as a 4. If you don't grab Nurkic, you can have a look at Filipowski, who we'll talk about a little bit later on. And you could have a look at Hendricks, but it does appear to me that at the moment, at least, I would say give it at least 2 months, that Nurkic will have the starting spot. And it won't be brilliant all the time. It won't be excellent. There'll be some okay moments. There'll be some bad moments. Last season, in Phoenix, he was bad. He also hated the coach and got benched. And there was fights there and they just didn't play him even though he was the best center on the team. He went to Charlotte, really good. Really good. And he's been good this season. So it's going to be up and down. It's going to be rocky, but he is a must roster. The second most added player is the Blizzard Derik Queen, who did all of his damage in literally 1 quarter. Just didn't play before that. Came in the final quarter and cooked everybody. And now there's still no Messi. Zion is out. This is the biggest, I was going to say something, a rude word. This is the dumb franchise in the NBA, and they make dumb decisions and dumb coaching. But I don't think it's 100% ignorable. I don't think they can fully ignore Queen now. Now, is it a must add? Again, if you want to get out ahead of it, do it. But he is a rookie who has bad defense, and I think his fit with Zion is horrendous. And it is no surprise to me that the only good performance we've seen has been without Zion. That's not surprising. But Zion's not there, so do it. Chasing Moses Moody incredibly hard. I guess that is for a one-day stream today, but this is where it doesn't make sense to me. There's 11 games on. You don't get yesterday's game, and Moody was down to 9 minutes the game before. So, what are we doing? I understand how brains work sometimes. Brain legend over here. Curious neurologist, Josh Lloyd. I know that you saw, 25.63, he's got to add him, right? And I know that's how our brains work, right? But you don't get that game. He might be okay today, but will you even start him? Will he do that? It's possible. Curry's going to be out, Jimmy's going to be limited, all that stuff. But, how much do I care about Moody? Not that much. To me, it's not a priority. Russell Westbrook, most added. Again, talk about dumb. Yeah, they're doing dumb things. They're giving him tons of minutes. He's producing at a pretty good level. I don't think it's going to mean anything long term, but it's happening. And then we do have the big fella right there, Kyle Filipowski. So let's talk about what Filipowski has done this season, because it's going to be yuck. That's not even right. He doesn't average 17 points a game. What is that? Josh Lloyd, that is incorrect. The correct answer for those of you playing along at home is he averages 7 points a game with 4 rebounds. He was recently benched for Taylor Hendricks. He might become a starter again. He was bad as a starter already. He doesn't provide any defense. He's blocked, I think, 1 shot for the season or 2. Isaiah Jackson numbers. He's blocked 2 shots for the season, and he's got an under 50% true shooting. And it is true. At the end of last season, he was really good. He was good in Summer League. But he hasn't been. He's been bad. And I'm not sure what we're going to get out of him. But I understand, after Nurkic, this is the one that you'll go for. And he could easily step into a role that is much larger than what we've seen so far. We will come back to talk more waiver wire ads today's episode. It is brought to you by Gusto. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in. It takes the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so that you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is the all-in-one, remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. Whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or hidden fees. You get unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means no surprise charges at the end of the month. And Gusto's automated tools like offer letters, onboarding materials, and direct deposits save you hours every week. Try gusto.com at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That is right, 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. One more time, gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. Just realised I just put the old Walker Kessler RIP slide up again. Might as well get another look at it. Let's take a look at some of the most dropped players across fantasy basketball and just make sure that we're on top of that and it makes sense to us. The most dropped players over the last 48 hours on Basketball Monster, we're looking at Quentin Jackson, one of the most added players and then one of the most dropped because, of course, he hurt his hamstring immediately. And the long-term appeal is just not there. That's great. The second most dropped player is Josh Minott, and I understand why you would. I am having extra patience with him, but I've had patience with him through his whole career. Hasn't really worked in my favor, has it? But I have got patience with him. So I would not drop him in most cases. Now, no, the question's going to be, I can see the chat already. I'm in advance. Crystal ball. I can see it. Minott or Nurkic? Minott or Filipowski? Which one? I know. The answer is, I don't... There's 2 ways to look at it. Who has more likelihood of being the starter all season? It's Minott. Who has more likelihood of producing more value right now? It's probably Nurkic for the short term, but it also could be Minott. Minott's minutes are way more up and down. Nurkic, I think, is going to lock in as a starter and play at least 24 most nights. So I think, as much as I do like Minot long term, and I still want to hold him, I probably do go Nurkic in that spot. But if you had to tell me Nurkic or Minot or Filipowski, I take Minot. Because Filipowski's doing nothing. Mitchell Robinson, the next most dropped player. Easy call. Dylan Harper, out for weeks, unfortunately. See you later. And then Chris Middleton, again, incredibly easy drop decision. What about on Yahoo? Who's been turfed over there? Well, number one is Walker Kessler, because they run things like the last 18 hours or something. Easy, cool, we're dropping him, he's done. Colin Murray-Boyles. Big Yuck is back. Yuck and Pirtle. I'm getting that question as well. Pirtle or Nurkic, and this one is Pirtle to me. That's a pretty clear one to me, although, again, I find that I get a lot of these questions, and I think sometimes when you're asking questions where I look at players like, oh, do I want Nurkic or Ryan? And I've been told I have to be very careful about how I pronounce his name in case it sounds rude. The big center in Charlotte. I've got to say the L a little bit more. So, let me try again. For all of you Colk heads out there, all of you're all identified as Colk heads. The big Colk, Ryan Colk-Brenner. Do you want Ryan Colk-Brenner or do you want Jusuf Nurkic, for example? This is going to be a very Nurkic-flavored show. And I think when you're asking those questions, your league is either A, very shallow, B, the people in your league aren't paying a huge amount of attention, or C, your team is very strong. Because when I see those players, they're all just guys, they're just got to be rostered. They're just must-roster players. And if you're making the decision between two must-roster players, it's very hard to get it wrong. Because it either means, again, your opponents don't know what they're doing, your waiver wire is overflowing with talent, so if you add someone and then you drop them, there's going to be replaceable players all the way through, or your team is so good that you're that far in front anyway. That's how I view a lot of that. So when you're in those sort of questions that I answer both, it just means whatever. I think all of these scenarios leading to you asking that question puts you in a really strong position. Anyway, Colin Murray-Boyles. Drop with Pirtle back. That was, wow, I didn't realize how sidetracked I got there. Colin Murray-Boyles, dropped. Jared McCain. Very, very funny that people were just holding him or adding him in waiting for him to come back, play his first game, and they went, what are we doing? Yeah, because I don't see how it's going to work. And sure, maybe they prioritize him over Quentin Grimes, but I don't know, have you looked at the Sixers and where they are in the standings? Like, they're actually good. And Grimes, by far a better player than Jared McCain. By far. And at the moment, McCain is the fourth string guard, not including Kelly Oubre. I don't see how he is going to be an impactful fantasy guy. So yeah, he should have been dropped. He shouldn't have been added to begin with. Moussa Diabate, easy, bad schedule, back up to the big Hulk. So don't need to do that. And then Gaz Trent, streaming for threes. They had the back-to-back. He's done. He's dusted. Bye-bye. I'll see you next time, Gaza. I feel like I got energy this morning. Who are droppable players? Again, be very cautious. Don't just read the names. Don't ignore my lips. They're luscious, they're firm, but they're supple. And they're also soft and they're caring. But don't ignore my lips of what they're saying. If I say these players are droppable, do you have to drop them? No, do what you want. Can you drop them? Maybe. It depends on the circumstance. AJ Mitchell has been great. He has been very good. But the path for AJ Mitchell to be great is very hard to get to. And yesterday, he was bad. And we still don't have the Bronco. Doherty's injured, but guys are returning. Joe is back, and he's playing more than Mitchell. So if you want to make a move that is not based on what happened the last 2 weeks, or not what is happening today, and you're trying to look forward, Nurkic, you can make a move. And again, sometimes when we talk trades or waiver moves, you have to hurt initially. Not always. Ideally, you don't want to, but sometimes you do. You have to consider, like, if I wait to grab Nurkic now. Again, we are just infused with the flavor of Jusuf Nurkic, said no one ever in their life, but I did now. This whole show is infused that way. Because it's the big story. If you wait to grab Nurkic, somebody else will get him. Be like, I'll just wait until Jalen's back and then I'll drop AJ Mitchell. Right? That might be your decision. But this goes for any of these guys here. If you wait, he's gone. Cool? Not really. But you might drop. AJ might have another couple of good games. You go, what did I do? And then he goes back and plays 20 minutes off the bench and is not useful for us. And that's the short-term pain. Trey Jones has also been really good, but the last 4 games would give you a pretty rough idea of what's going on. It doesn't look good. There's been like 3 under 30-minute games, 1 solid game. And again, we know that eventually when Kobe White gets his leg reattached, Jones is probably going to be done. You can hold on to Jones. I am holding him in like 180 player deep league at the moment. But I think I dropped him in a 150 player deep league because I just needed to get somebody else in. And always remember this idea. The study that we did last season, which I think is just going to hold true, and these numbers are going to be estimated by me and made up because I don't have the numbers in front of me. But basically, in a 12-man league with 4 ads a week, streaming your last roster spot just gives you a top 100 player. It gives you, for example, if you've got 25 fantasy points on your waiver wire, streaming the spot gives you 31. It's the equivalent of a 31-point player in the same games. So, if Trey Jones is your worst guy, and you drop him, and you're just cycling through hot options or more games, you're okay. CJ McCollum, is it early to bail? Maybe. But he's also washed. He looks terrible. They're cutting his minutes back. And again, this all depends. Are you doing it because you want to take a real flyer on Moses Moody for an 11-game Wednesday? Then maybe that's not the move you want to make. Maybe not ideal. But if you're doing it because, hey, this really interesting long-term player came up, I don't know, Jusuf Nurkic, something like that, maybe you do it. The same goes for Anthony Simons. Now, before you get excited, we're catering to all league sizes, 130 player deep leagues, or if I'm going to be disparaging to you, or you beginners who don't know what you're doing, if you're playing in, I don't know what's wrong with me this morning. If you're playing in these shallower formats, I can't just do everything through the lens of 150 player, 12 man, 160 whatever size league. Yeah, Anthony Simons is a bench player. He's not hitting 30 minutes. He's not hitting average in scoring, and he's doing nothing else. And I know there's the patina, good word, of his previous play, which was based on 34 minutes and big usage and lead ball handling, which is not happening here at all. So it seems dumb that you'd want to consider dropping Anthony Simons, but where's the rosiness in the path? Again, this pushes more to shallow formats because, in a 150 player man league, you probably want to hold. But I don't think it's going to matter if you drop him. And the last one, the big fella in LA. I don't know if you've noticed, but I actually created 2 Enpitsu stings. Which one do you like better? Comments below. Rui Hachimura, the Japanese pencil. He has been okay. And yes, Reeves and LeBron are out, so you don't drop him for Wednesday. It wouldn't make sense to do that. But long term, again, he is one of the guys who's going to sit around and go, look at me, I'm the 150th best player, which technically is good enough, but it's not. We need multiple guys out, him getting 38 minutes, 24 usage and shooting 56%. And I just don't want to wait around for that to happen. We use him in very specific spots, and we don't use it all the time. We've got more to talk about. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on the action with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. You can be watching a game and go, oh my God, Rui Hachimura is starting. Everybody grab your Impitsus and let's get out there because we can place a bet on him in-game. Is he on fire? Is everyone out? Is Rui playing a lot of minutes? We can place bets on that. We can even do live same-game parlays for the Lakers. Maybe there's a fourth quarter comeback that is fueled entirely by Rui Hachimura. You can bet on that as well over at FanDuel. It keeps every game exciting. You put your Impitsu knowledge to the test and get out there and use it on FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers, $300 dues in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't you dare forget to gamble responsibly. I reckon I might need to call my doctor after this. There's something going on. I don't know why am I so fired up? I haven't even had a whole coffee. It's only like half done. Let's go. Something's happened. It's a new sheriff in town, whatever that means. Go. Let's take a look at a couple more waiver wire categories. Let's take a look at some of the hotties, the hot players over the last week. These are all top 100 guys that are not available, or they're not rostered anywhere, really. And let's talk about how interesting they are. And the answer is, not really. Jalen Tyson has been a top 55 player, 54th in fact, over the last week. Is that good? Yeah. On the back of some really big defensive numbers, but Garlow is coming back as soon as today, and I don't think we need to worry about it. Mike Conley, the 68th ranked player, been great, but Anthony Edwards is coming back. Don't need to worry about it. And then Pig Williams in Oklahoma City really took advantage of the fact that Chet Holmgren was out, and he was the 101st ranked player. What is important here is that the next time that we see opportunities open up for Jalen Tyson, Mike Conley, or Big Pig Williams, then you stream them in because the runs are on the board for these guys in these scenarios. Lastly, I've got other names that I want to talk about to finish off this absolutely off the rails show. And for some reason, I put Kyle Filipowski on there twice, so ignore him. Number one on the list is Isaiah Joseph, because it has been a red hot start for Isaiah. He has been great since returning, and his overall rank will make him look very good. You'll see his 9 category rank, and he'll look solid. Like, hold on to everything, but he's the 41st ranked player in 9 category leagues per game so far. He is averaging 18 points, hitting almost 5 threes a game. Now, of course, he's averaging 0.7 assists and 0.7 steals. He is doing it while shooting insane numbers. It is zero shot of holding. He is launching. He looks a little bit different as a player. I'll give him that. But none of this stuff is a real thing. But he is being added because, again, rank confuses and influences people. People will see a game of where he, this is what he's done. 20 points, 5 threes, 13 points, 3 threes, 22.6 threes. Undoubtedly, brilliant stuff. Brilliant performances. Unbelievable start to the year. But we're not getting them if you add him. He's an interesting stream guy, and he's going to suffer the same consequence as AJ Mitchell when players are back. He's going to play 20 minutes a night and just won't have the usage, or for as good as he is, I'm so sorry to tell you guys, he's not a 48% three-point shooter. He's probably one of the players that can get the closest to it, but he won't be that. Ryan Dunn is a name that's been added a lot, and he makes a lot of sense this week. You would have got Tuesday's game, you're going to get the one game of tomorrow, and then you've got Saturday. But it is going to be difficult for Dunny when both Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks are back, and when the schedule doesn't suit him. So for now, yeah, love it. And we've talked about this all week. O'Neal, Allen, Dunn, Gillespie, elite streamers, one of the best streaming weeks you will ever find. Everything aligning perfectly with players out to add these guys and take full advantage. And that's great. Long term, I don't think so. Dan Gafford, been added quite a bit. And it also makes a lot of sense. There's no Davis, there's no Lively. Long term, I don't think it's there. And that's again the differentiation. Like Gafford, almost assuredly, will be better than old mate Nurkic for this type period of time. But he'll also probably be the third string center when other players return. And 18 minutes of Gafford, while it's okay, it's not quite good enough. So for now, absolutely flying. But it's always about balance, the short term versus the long. Is this roster spot that you're using a short-term roster spot? Is it a long-term roster spot? How are you approaching it? What's your record? Hey, how banged up are you? All these questions can only be answered by you and Smokey Bear. That's it. I got Kyle Filipowski on there twice, but let's just talk about him. He can't defend, but we'll see where they go. And the last name is Reed Shepherd. Reed Shepherd has an unbelievably useful fantasy skill profile. It doesn't matter if he's playing 16 minutes, though. We can't actually utilize it. And the fact that we got Jabari Smith out and Tari Eason started, the fact that we got Aaron Holiday playing minutes over Reed, and that Josh Okogie is starting when they go small, is terrible news. The only way to hold on to Reed is in the formats, the stashable formats. Let me go through them again. Weekly leagues, games cap leagues, super large bench leagues, roto leagues. That seems like a lot of leagues, but it's probably about 10 to 15% of all leagues. Daily changes categories or daily changes points, you can't do it. You are sacrificing a roster spot, and you are probably putting yourself, especially if you've got an injury somewhere else, at a gigantic disadvantage. The opportunity looks like it was there. We go process. What is the process? They lose a point guard, they need shooting. How about they put in the point guard who's a shooter? That would make sense. But they didn't, and they're not doing it. So we change our mind. We change our expectations. And if it changes back again, by all means. But for now, I find it very difficult, almost 3 weeks in, well, not quite, we're 2 weeks and a couple of days into the season, to believe that Reed is going to do that. Unfortunately. Go. That's a show. Sorry that was off the rails. I don't really know what happened. I'll have a chat to someone about it. Guys, thumb, bang, hype, comment. Shout out to all the Colk heads out there. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.